No one could have predicted that because of Brother Floyd's demise, that the whole world would be coming on out in sympathy and understanding of what this racism is all about.
Welcome back to another episode of Another Act. I'm your host, Kelley Carter. Joining me today is a man who, if you watch this show, you probably best know him as Detective Lester Freeman from HBO's classic series, The Wire. But this summer, I expect that you will fall in love with a new character that he expertly brings to life, Otis, the Vietnam War vet, in Spike Lee's latest joint, The Five Bloods. Welcome to the show, Clarke Peters.
Thank you, Kelley Carter. Thank you very, very much. It's nice to be here.
Absolutely.
I see you got my brother there behind you.
Always behind. Always got Black Panther, right? Overlooking all of the interviews. Overlooking everything. You know what is so interesting about you saying yes to this film, and you know I'm about to go there, is when you research your history, you actually protested against the Vietnam War, and I read that you were arrested. So I imagine that you brought a lot of emotion to this character and to this set because of your very specific history. Tell me a little bit about that time period for you when the Vietnam War was actually happening in real time and what made you want to activate.
To get to that point, you really have to go back to like the early 60s. You know, when my older brother was getting on a bus with a bunch of kids to go down to the South to do voter registration. You have to go back to, you know, I jump ahead a few years when Muhammad Ali decides, wait a second, those people are not the enemy.
Yeah.
You know, these moments were very impressionable for me. Since 1953, I have been aware of being a Black target. You know, from I was only 3 years old when Emmett Till was killed, right? So us being a part of this war in Vietnam, and my protest against it was twofold. One was it was about civil rights because it was coming on the back of that, and it was also the fact that although I didn't know the numbers at the time, 33% of the armed forces were of African American descent. Yeah. So what served me in the role is that I was arrested in Washington for being, of all things, a medic.
Oh my gosh, really?
How that feeds into the five bloods is I'm still looking after the people.
Finally! Finally! Yeah, look at you. How you doing? I'm all right. Bring it in. There you go. Wow. Now, look at you, baby.
It sure is good to see y'all.
Ain't this some shit?
I'm telling it's a stone cold trip being back here in country.
You know, I still love my brothers, you know, and I love loving my brothers. I love taking care of them, even to today as Clarke Peters and not as Otis, you know, still do. You know, it was interesting being there because I had a chance to see firsthand what these men and women went through.
We've never seen the experience of Black soldiers and Black Vietnam vets in particular on film before. What was that like for you?
It was brilliant for me. It was brilliant for me, Kelley, because as you say, we have never seen that aspect of the wars before. This ain't Saving Private Ryan or whatever that shit is, you know. It ain't Apocalypse Now or any of that shit, you know. Meeting the men, Black vets, who are still in that part of the world, because it's ironic that you went over there to fight and you decided to stay there. That's telling. Think about that. You know, when we're given the DAP, you know, all of that stuff started in Vietnam, right? And I just realized that DAP meant, when you say give me some DAP, it was DAP, which was give me some dignity and pride.
Talk to me about, you know, Spike's ability to really tap into the pulse of the now, even in this case, before it actually happens.
Well, do you believe in God?
Absolutely.
Enough said. If
Yeah.
you're being true to your craft and what your craft means, or your tools and what they are in service in the world, God will use you to make sure that the right thing is done at the right time. No one could have orchestrated this conversation that we're having now and have this particular piece of storytelling to be so right for this time. No one could predict that because of the pandemic, that everyone has an opportunity to see it at the same time around the world. No one could have predicted that because of Brother Floyd's demise, that the whole world would be coming on out in sympathy and understanding of what this racism is all about. Nobody could have predicted that. So to answer your question, you know, for me, it's God's drama, and he's writing the script, and we are just the players in it.
Talk to me a little bit about, you know, the importance of understanding what it is that you're bringing to people right now, because I imagine when people watch this film, they're going to then, you know, go down a spiraling internet search. They're going to find some books. They're going to want to find some more material to learn more about what those very real life experiences were like for Black Vietnam soldiers.
Well, doing something like this elevates our craft. It also shows us the responsibility that we have as storytellers to make sure that the stories that we attach ourselves to are stories that are going to serve people, you know, not dumb them down. Yeah. I do hope that people will look further into their history, you know, Black and white, really, quite honestly. Those Eurocentrics are waking up to the privilege and wondering, how did I get this? How did I get this? And they're questioning that. And they are seeing with deep compassion a murder in cold blood right before your eyes. You do not want to be the person who's going to be silent now. You do not want to be that person. You do not want to be the person that is in your house looking behind your curtains as the protesters are walking in front of your house.
Does it surprise you or even disappoint you that 40 years later from when you were a young man doing it, that these types of things are still happening now, that they need to happen now in order for progression to happen?
It is very disappointing. I was saying to someone the other day, it's like Groundhog Day. You know, and as I was saying earlier, you know, since I was 3 years old, there has not been 1 year in my life that I haven't been shocked by the murder of some senseless murder, and I would say at least once a year, if not monthly, during some years. You know? So I'm deeply disappointed, but at the same time, we're calling for this revolution, but what I realize now is that you can call for revolution, but if you don't have an idea of what you're going to evolve into, all you're going to have is continued anarchy and chaos. So at this age, I'm thinking, all right, good. Now we need a time to sit back and organize, you know, mobilize, you know, and realize some real issues and really bring it to change, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a whole lot of research after people check you out in this new movie by Spike Lee, The Five Bloods, because like I said, it is definitely going to make people want to learn more and discover more. And thank you for your contributions to that film. I really, really liked Otis in this film.